welcome to episode 649 of Prog Review. And today it's Peter Gabriel Up, or as he called it, Up Shit Creek, because roughly a few years before, Rem had an album, that's REM, an album called Up out, and when Gabriel found out, he said, oh, my album was going to be called that. Now I'm Up Shit Creek, and it's the seventh studio album from Gabriel, and I think we can all agree it's probably his worst studio album. That's going to be a controversial view, but I thought we could just get it out of the way so you can all thumbs down the video, thumbs it down, because and I'm not including, Scratch My Back and OVO, because they were different projects. I'm talking about his actual core, what we call his core catalogue, his core studio material. This has to be his worst, and I will come to it. I will come to why. Just hear me out. Well, one of the reasons it's his worst is it took. How many years? 10? Was it 10 years between records, or was it 11? I think again it was only. Yeah, it was 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yes, it was 92. Yeah. And Kate Bush, she beat him with Ariel, didn't she? But yeah, so it was an awful long time between studio albums. I mean, we had, like I said, OVO and Rabbit Proof Fence and whatnot in between, but it's not what we wanted. So yeah, it took a long time to record, a long time to produce. I think it was recorded between 95 and 98, and then finished off in the early 2000s. And it feels like an album that's been laboured over. And also, what was interesting is before it came out, there was a promo copy of the album doing the rounds, which had slightly different mixes, and "Burn You Up, Burn You Down" was on it. I think you can still find it. You might be able to find it on eBay. So it was a very different album, and also the track listing was different. So yeah, it's a completely different order. So yeah, if it starts off with Darkness, Growing Up, Sky Blue, Don't Leave, which was retitled No Way Out. I think Don't Leave would have been a better, because that's the main refrain of it. I Grieve, Burn You Up, The Drop comes in the middle, Barry Williams Show, My Head Sounds Like That, More Than This, and then Signal to Noise, which is, like I say, it's quite a different track listing to this. This is the CD version, which has the surround sound mix. So anyway, getting back to the main thrust of this, seeing I've gone off piste somewhat. 5 minutes in, and I'm done. Starts off with Darkness, which again is quite an interesting track, because Gabriel plays with dynamics with this, and there's lots of tension and release. Starts off quietly, then bam, it hits you. Works really well live, and again, it's all about those fears that we have. I like the theme. I like the theme of it. The things that we don't understand, or the shadows in the water that scare us. But when we analyse those fears, when we peep through the window, it's just a small dog sleeping by the fire. If only overcoming your fears were that easy. Yeah, it's a good song, but the problem with every single song on this album, bar The Drop, every single song is over 5 minutes long. Oh, and this is a problem we see with Gabriel. Everything is stretched and drawn out to the point where, yeah, you have a good idea and a good melody and a good track, but by the end of it, you're thinking, when is this going to end? A lack of a good producer. This is what I've been saying for many a prog review. He self-produced it, whereas in the old days he had like Daniel Lanois and Steve Lillywhite, Robert Fripp, Bob Ezrin, helping him, reining him in. And this is Gabriel unreleased. You know, Gabriel released and untethered, you know, to attack. You know, in attack mode, and we see what he does. He just over eggs the pudding. Growing Up's the same, great song, but it's 7 minutes 33 long. You know, it's a good track, good video as well. Again, quite enjoyable. And it is just about that thing, growing up, getting old. There's a lot of that. The themes of this. It's not a happy album. Growing, dying, you know, leaving. It's not a jolly record, but I do like the opening two. I think they're very strong. Sky Blue, another great song. However, too long. Though there is a great bit of lap still on it where it goes wow, and it always makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And of course the Blind Boys of Alabama. Now when I saw this live, I saw it at Wembley Arena, they had the Blind Boys come up in the middle of the stage, and that was worth the price of admission alone. So I quite like Sky Blue. No Way Out or Don't Leave. It's too long, I think. Again, it could have been. There's some nice imagery on there about goldfish, dropping a goldfish or something. But leave it off, because again, thematically, it's too similar to Sky Blue and too similar to I Grieve. Like that run of songs, it's all about loss. I get it, you know. We don't. At least split them up. That's why the running order of the promo was slightly better, but it needs to be split up. So yeah, No Way Out, I think you could kick off the record. I Grieve is another fantastic song for this. Reminds me of a track that Laurie Anderson did on her Life on a String album, which she talks about, you know, basically watching or waiting for someone to die, and this is the same with that song. And it has that curious glued together bit where it goes up tempo, but you know, life carries on, and you go, all right, Pete, you know. Yeah, it's a bit shoehorned in there, you know, but its heart's in the right place. Barry Williams Show is another song that I personally, again, this was released in, was it 2002? I've just got to bring up the Wikipedia page for the Jerry Springer Show, right? The Jerry Springer Show, because that's what it's based on. The Jerry Springer Show. The first episodes of Jerry Springer were recorded back in 1991, right? That's it. I'm parking that there. A lot of these TV shows where you have a host and there's British versions, and you know, wherever you are, I'm sure there's a host that has a very similar format to Jerry Springer. But this song is like 11 years after. It is so behind the curve, it's not even funny, and it comes across as, I mean, if it had been released in the 90s, you know, early to mid 90s, I'd have gone, great, you know, he's the zeitgeist, and you know, but it just seems like it's an afterthought, like he missed the boat on it, you know. Not that it's a bad song. I mean, the lyrics are pretty, you know, they're pretty rock solid, and you know, they raise a smile, but it just, you missed the boat, mate. It's like, you know, it's like writing a song about Biko in the mid-90s, isn't it, really? But yeah, so that's why that one needs to be dropped from the album as well. My Head Sounds Like That is just, Dolesville. I understand where he's going from, but it's a B-side. If there was CD singles, that would have been a B-side. No need for it to be on the record. More than this, too similar to Signal to Noise, you know. I think, again, there's a lot of, not repetition, but just familiarity from the noises, the synth noises that he uses. You know, whereas previous albums, he had instrumentalists, he had, you know, people playing that, you know, on a number of albums that lifted the songs. This, leaden in places, you know, it's just, and More Than This is, Signal to Noise should have been the last track on the record. It's, again, he's sampled Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, who's in there. It's a very powerful track with the strings, you know, very big, brash, and that should have been the end of the album. Boom, the end, right? And we'd have all gone, but it's not. Also, 7 minutes long again, a bit long. All these songs are just too long. It needed Dano and I there just to say, Gabriel, you know, we need to cut these down a bit. The drop, again, it's pleasant enough. It's almost like a shopping list. It's about jumping out of an airplane. Again, like My Head Sounds Like That, they're two sides of the same coin. I suppose it's different. It's different, but it's no father son, is it? It's nothing like that. It's, I don't know. It doesn't touch me. And as the last track on the album, it makes the album end with a wet, damp fart of a whimper than an actual bang. Whereas Signal to Noise is the bang, even though it drags on a bit. And so this is why I think it's his worst album. It's unfocused. It really does need a producer. And and by all means, please disagree with me in the comments section below. But if you think this is better than us, you're wrong. And if you think this is better than So, you're wrong. Or any of his other albums. This is, it's 66 minutes long. 66 minutes long. He was trying to fill the CD up. And I think that was a giant, huge mistake. And like I said, with some good editing and a change of the track listing, you've got a very good album. But in its current format, bloated and quite boring, really. And if you're picking that up, that's my son singing and dog snoring. Hey, to be a young single thrusting YouTuber without any noises of the family. I need that soundproof room. But yeah, that's my take on it. I know people have been asking it for a while. You've got it now. You can all fuck off. We're coming to the end. There's nothing left worth talking about, is there? But yeah, it's awful. It's awful. And that's it. And that's probably shocked all of you. And I'm a big Peter Gabriel fan. You know that. But even at the time, I was bitterly disappointed by it. Because it's just like, it's not an album I think, I really want to put that on. There's far too much shade. There's not enough light on it, if you know what I mean. Not that Gabriel writes great big happy songs, Salisbury Hill, big time. But no, it's too, there's too many. It's thematically, it's too similar. Musically, there's lots of synthesizer noises that just sound the same, bit samey. Tony Levin's not really given a chance to shine, because I think he's on there, isn't he? Who else is on there? Let's have a look. There's quite a big cast. Even Peter Gabriel played guitar on this. So you got Levin, Rhodes, Manicace, Shankar, Chad Blake. Yeah, he did some stuff. Wow, Bob Ezrin did some of the brass arrangement. There you go. But yeah, Daniel and R, guitar on track 3. Was that Sky Blue? Was it that bit of pedal steel? Was it? Maybe it was, I don't know. But yeah, I've gone on far too long, but it means I can put lots of adverts on this and you can all moan about that as well. Tough titty. So anyway, thanks for watching. I've been talking about Peter Gabriel's Up album, a thorough disappointment. In terms of rating, it gets 2 Sky Blues out of 5. That's 2 Sky Blues out of 5. A surround sound mix. Yeah, it's all right. Things whiz around a bit though. Kind of expected, because it was the early kind of days of SACD surround sound mixing, so you do get a little bit of zoo, 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 and sometimes Gabriel's vocals are a little bit, I don't know, muted, They could be more centered, if you know what I mean. But yeah, as a surround sound mix, I think this is the only Gabriel. I might be wrong. I usually am. This is the only one like of multi-channel surround sound SACD there is. So yeah, I mean, well, of course, unless you get the play DVD, because on that all the songs have surround sound mixes that are unique. So that's why it's worth getting the play DVD. A little addendum there for you. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, you know, especially stuff like Growing Up. It really works. It's because it's really boom, 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 boom. You know, there's lots of stuff bouncing around. But yeah, at the time, it made me appreciate surround sound mixing a little bit more. You know, after being thoroughly disgusted by it by the likes of Jean-Michel Jarre's Aero DVD audio mix, which I thought was just overdone. So yeah, that's it. I think I've gone on enough. And with that, there's only one more thing left to say, and you know what that is, and that is prog on.